Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to do my June TBR video, and I'm so excited to talk about these books with you guys today. I really love the ones that I found, and I think that they fit very well for this month, not only because it's Pride Month, but for other reasons. Before I do jump into this video, I do want to mention that if you didn't know about what's been going on here in the United States with Minnesota and George Floyd and the protests, then definitely recommend for you to do your research. I'm also going to be leaving links down below for tons of good resources and ways for you to help if you would like to help. So please check down below if there has been any curiosity for that kind of situation. I'm sure if you follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, you've seen me posting a lot about this already, but I do want to mention it since this is like my first video since all of this has began, and I still feel so weird making content in a time like this. But it's necessary and vital, and I know a lot of people use content as a form of escapism, so here we are today. I am really excited about these books, and I can't wait to jump into it with you guys. But I do want to give a big thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. I love Book of the Month. You guys know I've actually worked with them for quite a while now because I am an affiliate. If you didn't already know, Book of the Month is this amazing book subscription service where on the first of every single month they pick out 5 books that are either new releases or early new releases. They can even be debut novels, and you as the subscriber get to pick one out of the 5 new releases to get shipped out to you at only the price of $14.99. At $9.99 actually if you haven't subscribed before, if you use the code June5. To top it off, this is a hardcover. This is an adult fiction hardcover. Adult fiction hardcovers are so expensive, guys. To only be spending $14.99 a month on a new book is incredible. It's an incredible way to also learn about new books and new debut authors. But if for whatever reason you don't like the 5 book picks of that month, you can actually skip it for no penalty at all, and it'll just roll over to the next month. And let's say you wanted to add on some more books from their Book of the Month collection, because each Book of the Month book has a cute little Book of the Month label. So I've seen some pretty aesthetic collections happening in shelves. You can add up to 2 extra books into your order, as well as the new release for the month. And I'm really excited about this today, guys, because Book of the Month actually sent me all 5 books of the June book picks. And at first I was really nervous about this because you guys know I'm not the biggest reader of adult fiction. I tend to stick with young adult, and if I do read adult, it's always fantasy. So I was a little nervous to see what kind of books were going to be picked out, but I actually adore this month's selections. There is not one book that I wasn't intrigued by, and I'm just really excited to share it with you. So let's kind of get unboxing. So this is the box that it comes in. Every single month you're gonna get this beautiful blue box at the front of your door. Let's just open her on up. Spoiler alert, I've already opened it, but I mean, it's to be expected. I got this cute little booklet. I'm not sure if this is actually only when you're a first-time subscriber. I think it is, and it just like kind of gives you a really cool rundown on everything about Book of the Month. Like, they don't use algorithms, they use real people to pick out these books, and that they've been picking books since 1926. That was something like I had no idea of. I love this part because it says, before Hemingway's books and Invisible Man were English class staples, they were Book of the Month picks. Not to brag. I love that. So I thought that this booklet was a really nice touch. Then you also get a cute little bookmark. So the first book that we're going to talk about for the June book picks is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. And this is actually a thriller, scary book, and I am very intrigued. I mean, the tagline is what really drew me in, and it says, bells that ring themselves, record players that turn on and play music to empty rooms, ghosts that climb out of wardrobes. Maggie Holt doesn't believe in these things, even though they are the details of the story that made her family famous. I'm really intrigued by this. I'm probably gonna save it for October just because I love spooky books and the spooky month. I love that right here you can see how much it would have cost. $27. And you can get it for $9.99 or $14.99 if you already had a subscription. The next book that I want to talk about is A Burning by Megha Majumdar, and this one seems really intriguing. It's basically a story about how 3 people's lives are connected after a terrible attack on the community in India, and how one girl is going down for the crime even though she didn't commit it, how another person's career is going to be skyrocketed as long as she does go down for the crime, and how the one person that has an alibi for her has to risk her entire career as a potential Bollywood star to save her, and if she will. It just seems really, really fascinating. It's definitely not something I would have picked up on my own, but I actually can't wait to read it. I think that it's going to draw some really interesting conclusions because the girl that's going down, she's from the slums. I feel like a lot of class talk is going to be in this. The third June pick for Book of the Month is One to Watch by Kate Stayman London, and this one seems like a really cutesy story about a plus-sized blogger who is kind of sick and tired of seeing only one type of body type on all of those romantic shows, like I'm assuming kind of like The Bachelor, and how she actually gets invited into one of these shows and the whirlwind of drama it causes. Just a nice, fluffy, but still has serious topics kind of book. The fourth pick is The Last Flight by Julie Clark, and this one is actually seeming on the thriller line because we have a wife that is actually trying to escape from her husband, a very powerful man, and how she is desperate to book a flight to disappear from him for forever. This seems like another thing that I'd probably save for October because I don't know what it is about me and thrillers and horror stories, but I just save them all for October, and then October comes around and I have way too many thrillers to read, hopefully. So, yeah. And the last book that I wanted to talk about for Book of the Month is going to be The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This one is a very fascinating story about twin sisters who go by different identities. They both ran away at 16 from their small southern Black community, and they haven't had contact since. We follow one who identifies as Black and has her Black daughter, and then we have the other one who is married to a white man and identifies as white and has not told him about her past. And I believe that it's just going to be a really heart-wrenching story just about race and identity and family, just because their daughters end up meeting somehow. And I'm very, very fascinated to see where this goes and what kind of discussions it brings. So those are the 5 book picks for June. So if you're interested in any of those titles, please again go down below to the description and follow through. Again, don't forget to use code JUNE5 if you want to get your first subscription for $9.99. And now for the books on my TBR for the month of June. I'm really, really excited to talk about these with you guys. You know that I tend to be way more of a mood reader. I'm not very diligent when I pick out my TBRs at the start of every month. I just kind of go through my shelves and pick out what sounds interesting. I have definitely been having a harder time reading this year as well, and have just been trying to be lazy, I guess, about what I pick and only pick things that I know I'm going to be instantly sucked into, and just not doing a lot to find new books. I, for a while, wanted to fix my reading and the books that I read in the way that I've wanted to include more. I wanted to be a little bit more diverse with the books that I pick and books that I talk about. I wanted to have that be an aspect of my channel. I mean, you guys know one of my goals was to read outside of fantasy because I tend to only read fantasy. But with everything that happened this month, I think it finally gave me the push that I needed, the push that my lazy butt needed to actually go out and do research and find books that are diverse and that other people may not know about and that you should know about, because I know I fall into that category where I tend to read whatever's being advertised in the moment because it's easy, but that's not always what we need. And especially I feel as a booktuber with a larger platform, I need to be a little bit more diligent in what I'm picking and spreading out to the world. That way you guys can learn more about books. And yeah, it's a little bit of extra work for me, but I think that it's going to be really rewarding. So sorry about that spiel, but let's jump in. I want to start by saying that I am going to be participating in the Blackout buddy read that is being hosted by Books with Shay. And there are 2 books that are going to be read for this, and they are White Privilege, Fragility. I meant Fragility, and White Rage. They are both just informative books. This is more of a buddy read where you can join if you want to be a better ally or if you want to be more informed on this movement that's been happening for so long now, and just how you can help and be there for everyone. So the buddy read is going to be happening from June 5th through June 19th, and actually both of these books are on Scribd. I mean, as far as I know, I actually did just check the other day and they were still on there, and I believe that they're also on Scribd in Australia, so if you have a Scribd subscription, you're good there. If not, don't have the money to buy them at this moment, I definitely recommend going through your library. I use the Libby app for audiobooks, and it really does me good quite a lot. And there is going to be a live show that is happening on June 19th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Shay's channel. So I highly recommend for any of you guys to join in on this buddy read. I will be leaving the link to her announcement video down below just in case you want more information, because she talks a lot on it and has some really great pointers and is just very eloquent. So I recommend watching that video and joining if you can. So other than that though, let's jump into the other 6 books on this TBR. So with it being June, I really wanted to make sure that all of the books on my TBR had themes of LGBTQ, and I also really wanted to make sure that the authors were Black authors specifically, just because I think it's really important for someone with a platform to advertise something like this so that other people know about it and can read and support Black authors and the Black community. And I do want to mention, I know, like I said, I've never been good at doing this kind of thing where I specifically look out for diverse books, and this is something that I'm hoping to completely change within the rest of my reading in general. I think that this was definitely the spark that I needed, and I do though want to say that this isn't something that's just temporary or just because of the cause. It's something that I have been wanting to do for a while and I was too lazy, unfortunately, to do. So I'm glad that I'm finally looking and trying. Editing Brittany here to rephrase what filming Brittany said. Basically what I was trying to say is I know that there's probably going to be a lot of speculation on whether this is just a change that I'm making because of the entire movement that's happening and everything that's being posted on social media, but this is actually something that I've really been wanting to do for quite a while, but I was too lazy to go out and make the effort for it, and this was the spark that I needed. But this is a change that I plan to permanently add into my life. I have wanted to read more diversely for forever, and I'm really excited to finally have that kind of motivation to do it. And so this is going to be a permanent thing. I'm going to permanently be actively trying to find amazing diverse books. So yeah, let's get back to the video. The first book on my TBR is going to be Odd One Out by Nick Stone. This one seems so cute. We're following Cooper and Jupiter, who have been next door neighbors and best friends for forever, but lately Cooper can't help but think that he wants to be maybe more than friends with Jupiter, but Jupiter has always liked girls. So when this new girl, Ray, comes into town and instantly befriends them and kind of is interested in them both, but starts dating Cooper, Jupiter can't help but think that she only ever imagined herself by Cooper's side. So we're gonna kind of be in this like intertangled potential love triangle relationship, and I think that it's going to be really cute. The next book on my TBR is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by, I'm gonna butcher this name, I can already feel it, because there's like one of two ways that I think that it could be pronounced, and it's either Junata Petrus or Hunata Petrus. So if you guys know, please leave it down below and correct me. I'm actually really excited about this one. We're following 2 girls. We're following Audrey, who is from Trinidad in Spain, and then we are also following Mabel, who is from Minneapolis. And Audrey is actually being forced to go live with her father after her mom catches her with a girl, and she does not approve at all. So her father decides to take her with him to Minneapolis, and in Minneapolis we have Mabel, who has just been kind of living her life when her father lets her know that his friend from Spain is coming over for dinner, and Mabel and Audrey instantly form a relationship, and Mabel really wants to protect Audrey from the schools and how to navigate them in America. So I think it's going to be a very touching story, and it's actually even more poignant right now just because the setting is in Minneapolis, which is the setting of everything right now. So, but I think it's going to be really beautiful, and I cannot wait to read it. This next one is actually one I'm so excited about to add onto this list. It's one that I've been really actually interested in for quite a while, ever since I think before, but Books with Chloe also has been reading them, but I think I saw someone else before that and it intrigued me. And this book is Check Please by Ngozi Ukazu. It's a cute story. There's not too much that I know about it, but the aspects that I do know definitely sound right up my alley. And that's that we're following a boy who had been a figure skating champion and who now in college has to kind of transform that into hockey since his college of choice doesn't have a figure skating team. And this one just seems like it's gonna be the perfect fit. If you guys didn't know, I actually did figure skate my entire life up until, I mean, basically college. And when Vegas got their hockey team and everything, I was actually on the Ice Girl team where we had like hockey, we did a lot of stuff on the ice. If you watch hockey, then you know what the ice crew is, and I was actually on that. So hockey and figure skating are definitely things that I'm very passionate about, and I think it's gonna be such a cute story because I've heard really good things about the representation in it and how like he is in the locker room and how there's nothing really like icky and toxic masculinity, you know? And I just think it's gonna be a really fun, lighthearted read. And I actually am so excited that I have a graphic novel on this TBR because you guys know I've been doing so bad at physically reading books. So graphic novels, the only thing that understands me right now, honestly. The next book on my TBR is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. And I have actually been really wanting to read an Elizabeth Acevedo book for so long. And I truly do not know why I don't already own or have read The Poet X, because you guys know I actually love reading books that are told in verse, and The Poet X is told in verse and it has amazing reviews. And she actually has another book that isn't told in verse, but then this one is once again told in verse, and I'm so excited about it. So we're actually following two girls who find out that their father has died in a plane crash, and they are in different parts of the world. We have one sister that lives in Camino Rios in the Dominican Republic, and the other one that lives in New York City, and they only just find out about each other after his death. So it's going to be just a story about them kind of navigating that, navigating having a new sister and what that means for them, and also dealing with the death of their father. So it's just gonna be really heart-wrenching. I am not entirely sure actually how this one is LGBT, but I was on Goodreads and it is in the LGBT genre, so I believe it is, but correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, I think it's gonna be a really good read. I'm so excited that it's told in verse. Again, physical reading has not been my friend, but verse is definitely one of those things that I love to read in just because like there's normally hidden things. It's fun. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't read a book in verse yet. I started with the Ellen Hopkins books, so yeah, they're kind of tragic though. The next book on my TBR is Felix Ever After. First of all, the cover, incredible. So we're following Felix Love, who has never been in love, and he can definitely see the irony in that, and he's kind of worried that he might just be one different too many. He is not only black, he's not only queer, but he's also transgender, and he's just worried that that's going to affect his potential for a happily ever after. So when he starts receiving transphobic messages that really affect him, and also when people start posting pictures of his old self and his dead name, he hashes out a plot for revenge and catfishes his bully, and he doesn't really expect that this is gonna kind of accidentally put him into a love triangle. And on this journey, he really is supposed to learn about himself and how to love himself, and just a really beautiful story about self-discovery and learning to love, and specifically loving yourself first. I just think it's gonna be really sweet and cute. It kind of gives me like Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda vibes, even though I've never read that book. Yeah, but I mean like with the whole like bullying thing and then the catfishing thing. But I think this one's gonna be really cute, so I'm excited. Whoa. Oh. Sorry, I somehow moved my camera, so. And the last book on my TBR for the month is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, and this book is actually sold out basically everywhere as soon as it came out, which is so cool, but it sounds adorable. We're following Liz, who has always just felt a little too poor and black and awkward to fit into her Midwestern town that's absolutely obsessed with the prom, but no worries, she's okay with it. She's planning to get out and go to a wonderful college, be in the orchestra in that college, and then eventually become a doctor. But when the financial aid she was counting on to go to this college falls through, she thinks that all of her dreams are destroyed, until she remembers that the prom king and queen actually get a scholarship from her school, and this kind of forces her into having to run for prom queen, putting herself out there and dealing with the annoying social media of it all. But there is a bright side, because there's a new girl named Mac, and she definitely makes it worth it. She's cool, and Liz might kind of like her, but there's a catch, because Mac is also running for prom queen. So it definitely sounds like it's gonna be very interesting to see. It sounds like kind of like friends to lovers, but also like how are they gonna be lovers if they're both competing for the same title, you know? But I think it's just gonna be really cute, and I'm so excited to read it. So those are all of the books that are on like my TBR for the month. I didn't want to overwhelm myself with books just because we all know that I just don't read that much anymore, unfortunately. I will also leave a link down below of useful little links that actually have amazing recommendations for Black authors' books, and also if you do have any other recommendations for me, please feel free to leave them down below. I'm actually planning a few secret TBR videos. Maybe not for this month, but spread out over the year, and I definitely would love some recommendations. And I mean, I already have some really good ideas, but it's always good to know if there's something that I might have missed. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this TBR video. I really hope that you do go down below and check out all of the links that I have left for you guys in support of Minnesota and the protests and in general, but also I really hope that you check out Book of the Month if it sounds like something that you would really enjoy. I think that it's a very useful subscription service. So yeah, I feel like that was a lot of stuff to end on. I feel like I talked about a lot in this video, so if you stayed through till the end, kudos to you. I hope you're all staying super, super safe, and I love you all so, so much. Thanks for always watching. Thanks for always being here. Your support means the world to me, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. Thank you so, so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you in my next one. Goodbye!